family dinner shattered into chaos when my ex-wife burst through the door, her trembling hands gripping a gun, her eyes burning with vengeance as she whispered, "You destroyed my world. Now watch yours crumble." Be me, 31-year-old Richard Harrison, living in San Diego, working as software development team lead at major tech company, making great money, living comfortable life, married to Emily for 10 years. Life seems perfect on the surface. At my best friend Andrew's summer cookout, everything seems normal at first. Notice Emily laughing way too hard at something. It's Andrew's brother Kevin. Something feels off about how she's touching his arm, the way her eyes light up when she looks at him. Try to shake off the feeling. Tell myself I'm being paranoid. Emily's always been outgoing and friendly, but something in my gut won't let it go. A few days later, come home early from work with massive headache. Like universe is trying to warn me about something. Hear Emily's voice from living room. She's using that flirty tone. Haven't heard her talk like that to me in months. Can't wait to see you again. My heart nearly stops. Walk in just as she hangs up. Catch her looking like a teenager with a crush. She jumps when she sees me. Ask her who she was talking to. She says it was her mom. Says it too quickly. Can tell she's lying. First seed of doubt takes root. Going to grow into something ugly. Can't sleep that night. Mind keeps racing. Start noticing all the little changes. How she's suddenly obsessed with going to gym. Phone never leaves her side. Even changed her perfume recently. Something more expensive, more seductive. Next day decide to cross a line. Check her phone while she's in shower. Hands shaking as I scroll through messages. Most are normal. Then find thread with contact named K. Blood runs cold as I read. Messages get more intimate as I scroll. Last night was amazing. Can't stop thinking about you. You make me feel alive again. Then see the worst part. Wish he wasn't in the way. Feel like someone dropped concrete block on my chest. Room starts spinning. Can barely breathe. Emily, my wife of 10 years, the woman I trusted everything with. She's cheating on me. By the time she gets out of shower, my face must tell the whole story. She freezes in doorway, still wrapped in towel, water dripping from her hair. "What's wrong?" she asks, voice already shaking. Can tell she knows. Don't say anything. Just hold up her phone. Screen showing those damning messages. Care to explain this? Watch her face go pale. Then something changes. See a side of her I've never seen before. Cold and calculating look in her eyes. Chills me to the bone. "It's not what you think," she says, voice sharp as glass. "Kay is just a friend. You're overreacting." "Really?" I say, voice rising with each word. "Last night was amazing." "That doesn't sound like something you say to a friend." She rolls her eyes, crosses arms defensively. "You're being paranoid. If you actually paid attention to me, instead of working late every night, maybe I wouldn't have to turn to other people for validation." Her words hit like a slap. Through the pain, feel something else. Pure rage building inside. She's not even denying it anymore. Just trying to blame me. That's when I realize Emily isn't just unfaithful. She's actually dangerous. Stare at her feeling ground disappear. Her words cut deeper than any knife. This isn't just betrayal. It's her shameless attempt to blame me. Like her actions are somehow justified. Air between us gets thick. Like toxic fog of anger and disbelief. Fighting urge to scream every curse word I know. Take step toward her. "You're sneaking around behind my back. And somehow that's my problem?" Explain that logic to me, Emily. She doesn't flinch. If anything, gets bolder. Lifts her chin like she's got moral high ground. "You work late every night," she snaps back. "You're more married to your job than to me. What was I supposed to do? Sit around and wait for you to notice me again?" And her audacity makes my blood boil. "Oh, I'm sorry," I snap. "Didn't realize being responsible adult. And keeping roof over our heads was a crime. Maybe I should have thrown it all away, so I could play therapist for your selfish little ego." Her eyes narrow to slits. "Don't you dare twist this around. Like you're some saint," she hisses. "You've been emotionally absent for months. Do you even remember last time you asked how I was feeling? Or is everything always about you and your precious work?" Laugh bitterly. Sound hollow and full of pain. "Wow, Emily. You should give yourself medal for how well you've justified cheating. I'm sure Kay is proud of you." At mention of his initial, her mask cracks for a second. Eyes flicked aside. Her old tell when she's lying. "Press on while I have opening." "Who is he?" I demand. "Kevin, is it? Or some other guy you've been pretending is just a friend?" She hesitates. See flash of fear in her eyes. But it vanishes quickly, replaced by chilling smirk. Sends shivers down my spine. "You're pathetic," she sneers. "Always so desperate to control everything. Guess what? You can't control me anymore. Take step back." Stunned by venom in her voice. This isn't woman I married. Not the Emily who held my hand at Mom's funeral. Not the one who whispered she'd love me forever. Not on our wedding day 5 years ago. "You're right," I say. Voice breaking. I can't control you, but I don't deserve this. Emily, no one does. Neither of us speaks. Only sound is clock ticking on wall. Cruel reminder that time isn't stopping. For disaster unfolding in my life. Finally breaks silence. I want you to leave. Her eyes widen in surprise. Probably expected me to beg. To cry and grovel. Promise to be better. Not giving her that satisfaction. Leave, she echoes, like concept is completely foreign. Yes, I say firmly. Pack your stuff and go. Tonight. She crosses arms, glares at me like spoiled child. Just told no for first time. You can't kick me out of my own house. Oh, I absolutely can, I shoot back. You want to live double life? Fine, but you're not doing it under this roof. For a moment, think she might fight me on it, but then she just shrugs. Her indifference cuts deeper than any insult. Fine, she says coolly. I'll go. But don't think for a second this is over. She storms out of room, slams door behind her, stand there trembling. Mix of rage, heartbreak, and exhaustion. Part of me wants to chase after her, demand more answers, scream until she admits how much she hurt me. But quieter, rational part knows. It wouldn't make any difference. This isn't just betrayal of our marriage. It's betrayal of who I thought she was. Hours drag by after she leaves. Sit in living room, staring at same spot on wall, trying to make sense of everything. How had I missed all the signs? Had she ever truly loved me? Or had our entire relationship been lie? At some point realize, can't sit in silence anymore. Grab phone and call Andrew. Hey man, he answers cheerfully. What's up? Can you come over? I ask. Voice cracking. Shift in his tone is immediate. What happened? Are you okay? No, I admit. I'm not. 20 minutes later. Andrew sitting across from me, face mix of concern and anger. As I recount everything that happened. Emily, he says, shaking head in disbelief. Man, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. It gets worse, I say. I think it might be Kevin. Andrew's expression darkens. You mean my brother? I nod, feel fresh wave of nausea. If it is him, Andrew says, jaw tightening. He's going to wish he never met her. Emily returns to pack her things. Andrew's still there with me. She doesn't say word, starts grabbing clothes, takes all her jewelry, even grabs photo albums. Thought those meant something to her. Guess I was wrong about that too. As she's leaving, turns to me with cold smile. You'll regret this, she says. You think you're the victim? But you'll see. I always get the last word. Her words echo in my mind, long after she's gone, like sinister promise. Makes hairs on back of my neck stand up. Feel real chill of fear for first time. Days after Emily left her blur. Feel raw inside. Can't sleep. Emotionally drained. Keep replaying every conversation, every glance, every moment from past few months. All feels tainted now. Try to focus on work, but every email feels meaningless. Every phone call seems insignificant. Compared to chaos in my head, Andrew checks in daily. Keeps pressing for updates. Want me to talk to Kevin? He asks. On second day, voice heavy with unspoken threats. No, I say. Not yet. Need to be sure first. That need for certainty drives me to do something never imagined. Hire private investigator. Feel pathetic and determined at same time. Can't just sit here while Emily and Kay carry on. Need truth. All of it, no matter how ugly. Investigator's name is Claire. No-nonsense woman in her 40s. Has reputation for being thorough. Give me a few days, she says. After showing her messages, I found if she's been sneaking around, I'll find out. 3 days later, Claire calls me. You were right, she says. Voice clipped. Her gym sessions were cover. She's been meeting this guy at motel across town. Got photos, timestamps, everything. Swallow hard. Did you see who it was? There's pause. Yes, she says. It's Kevin. My stomach drops. Hearing it confirmed. Like being punched in gut. Andrew's brother. Someone I considered friend. Trusted. There's more, Claire says. She's been siphoning money from your joint account. About $115,000 over last 6 months. Head starts spinning. What? She's been transferring it into private account under her name. I'm sending you full report now. Stare at documents in disbelief. Not just a fair. Emily had been planning this. Stashing money away, creating whole life without me. That night, Andrew comes over again. Hesitate to tell him truth, but no, can't keep it from him. It's Kevin, I say. Voice flat. Andrew's expression darkens. Jaw tightening. Hands clenching into fists. You're sure? Hand him Claire's report. He reads in silence. Face getting redder with each minute. When finished, slams folder shut. Stands up abruptly. That bastard, he growls. I can't believe this. Reach out to grab his arm. Andrew, don't do anything stupid. No, you're angry, but we need to think this through. His eyes blaze with anger. You're asking me not to confront my own brother? After he's betrayed you and me? In worst possible way. I get it, I say. Try to keep voice calm. But Emily isn't just cheating. She's playing some kind of game. Don't know where it ends. Let's not give her any ammunition. Andrew exhales sharply, paces room like caged animal, finally nods. Fine, but I'm not letting this go. Next day, call my lawyer. Been putting it off, hoping Emily might come to senses. Agree to clean separation. No, now that's not happening. She's already stolen money, I explain. To lawyer, sharp-eyed man named Peter. Need to make sure she can't take anything else. Peter nods, taking notes. We'll freeze joint account immediately. Based on evidence you provided, think we can argue for financial restitution in divorce settlement. Divorce, word feels heavy on tongue. Not what I wanted. Not really. But Emily left me no choice. Later that evening, get call from unknown number. Hey, it's Kevin, voice says. Hand clenches around phone. What do you want? I wanted to apologize. His voice trembling. Didn't mean for any of this to happen. Laugh bitterly. Didn't mean for it to happen. You've been meeting my wife at motel for months. You don't just trip and fall into that situation. I know, he says quickly. I know. But she told me things about you. She made it sound like your marriage was already over. Close my eyes. Fighting urge to smash phone. Let me guess, I say. She said I was neglecting her? That I was terrible husband? Long pause. Yeah, he admits. Exhale sharply. You're grown man, Kevin. If you believed her lies, that's on you. But make no mistake. You betrayed me just as much as she did. I'm sorry, he repeats. Voice small. Save it, say coldly. Don't care about your apologies. Just stay hell away from me. That night, barely sleep. Betrayal feels like it's multiplying, spreading like virus, infecting every part of my life. Emily's lies weren't just about affair. They were about dismantling everything. Everything I thought I knew about our marriage, about our friends, even about myself. As hours tick by, something shifts inside me. Rage doesn't go away, starts to crystallize into something sharper. A plan. Not going to let Emily and Kevin destroy me. If they want to play dirty, I'll show them I'm not someone to mess with. By time sun comes up, anger has transformed into steely resolve. Not going to sit back while they make mockery of my life. If they want to burn everything to ground, I'll make sure they go down with fire. First thing I do, meet with Peter again. Want to go on offensive, I tell him. Peter raises eyebrow. How far are you willing to go? As far as it takes, I say. Without hesitation, Peter nods. We'll hit her where it hurts. First, let's file restraining order. Keep her out of house. Money she took, we'll make her pay back every cent. If her lover's involvement becomes public, could be damaging in court. Lean forward. Can we use evidence from investigator? Peter smirks. Oh, we're using it. Judges don't like cheaters, especially ones who steal money. Trust me, we'll make this very expensive lesson for her. With Peter handling legal side. Turn my focus to Kevin. For years considered him friend, even family. Now see him for what he really is. A coward, weak and spineless, enough to betray his own brother. Just because Emily whispered sweet lies. But Kevin isn't my biggest concern. Emily is not naive enough to think she'll go quietly. Woman who stole thousands from me, who justified her betrayal, won't back down without fight. Judging by our last conversation, have feeling she isn't done trying to win. That's when decide to lay trap. Next few days spent gathering evidence. Every bit I can find. Bank statements, credit card transactions, phone records, anything that paints clear picture of her deceit. Comb through everything with Claire's help. Together uncover more than bargained for. Not only had Emily stolen money, she'd racked up debt in my name. Thousands of dollars worth. Expensive clothes, jewelry, spa treatments. All while I'd been working long hours. Completely clueless. My so-called wife living like queen. On my dime, but real kicker comes next. She'd been sending money to Kevin too. Small amounts at first, but they added up. She's funding him, I realize. Staring at spreadsheets, Claire nods grimly. Looks like it. Probably to keep him hooked, or make sure he doesn't back out. Realization hits like freight train. Emily isn't just cheater, she's manipulator. Pulling strings behind scenes. Orchestrating her new life, while dismantling mine. Then comes moment been waiting for her. Emily calls me. I want to talk, she says. Tone sharp but controlled. Snort in response. About what? How you're screwing my money away. With your boyfriend? Pause on phone. Can almost feel her anger. Crackling through line. You froze the accounts, she snaps. That was petty. Even for you. Petty? You're lucky I didn't call cops. For theft, she lets out bitter laugh. Oh, please. You're not going to do anything drastic. You're too predictable, and you're too scared. Her words sting, but don't let it show. Instead, play it cool. If you've got something to say it. I'm coming over, she says. We're settling this face to face. Hang up without answering. When Emily shows up that evening, she's not alone. Kevin's with her. Open the door. For a second, almost laugh. They look so smug, like they've already won. Kevin has hands in pockets, trying to act casual, but his darting eyes show he's nervous. Emily, on the other hand, is pure ice. Get to the point, I say. Cross my arms. We're here to make a deal, Emily says. A deal? I repeat. Raise eyebrow. You're joking, she smirks. No joke. You give me half of everything. The house, the savings, everything. And I walk away. No drama. No fighting. Just clean break. Laugh genuinely this time. Half? After what you've done? You've got some nerve, Emily. Her smile falters, just for a second, but recovers quickly. You don't have choice, she says. If you fight me on this, I'll make sure you regret it. Look at Kevin, who's avoiding my gaze, like guilty child. And you're okay with this? I ask him. He shrugs. I'm just here to support her. Support her? I echo, voice rising. You mean leech off her? Like parasite you are. Let me guess. She promised you good life. After she bleeds me dry, Kevin's face turns red. But Emily cuts in before he can respond. Enough, she snaps. This is happening. Whether you like it or not, step closer. Lower my voice. Oh, it's happening all right. But not way you think. Her smirk returns. What are you going to do? Call your lawyer? Good luck with that. Don't answer. Instead, pull out phone. Press play on recording. Started moment they walked in. Her own voice fills room. You give me half of everything. The house, the savings. Everything, and I walk away. No drama, no fighting. Just clean break. Kevin's face goes pale. What the hell is this? It's called evidence, I say calmly. For court. You think you can blackmail me into giving you half my life? Think again. Emily lunges for phone. Step back quickly, hand tightening around it. Don't think so, I say. You wanted to play games. Fine. But I'm one setting rules now. Her face twists in fury. Before she can say another word. Open door, gesture for them to leave. Get out, I say. And don't come back. As they storm off, feel strange sense of satisfaction. This isn't over, not by long shot. But for first time in weeks, feel like I have upper hand. And I'm not letting it go. Days following their dramatic visit, like chess game, determined to stay 3 moves ahead, Emily had underestimated me. Not going to let her smug arrogance or Kevin's spineless support system blindside me again. Recording of our conversation gives me crucial edge, but not foolish enough to think it's over. Emily is crafty, if she was bold enough, to demand half of everything. While standing next to man she cheated with, no, she has more tricks up sleeve, decide to stay vigilant. One evening while reviewing evidence, Claire brings up something new. Did you know Emily's been spending a lot of time at lawyer's office? She asks, face partially lit by laptop screen. Stomach twists. No. Which lawyer? Not sure, she replies. Seen her go there twice this week. It's family law firm downtown. Could be for divorce. She trails off, but implication hangs heavy in air. Or something else entirely, I finish. Emily's plan becomes clearer. Over next few days, documents arrive at Peter's office, making outrageous claims about our marriage. She's accusing me of neglect, emotional abuse, and get this, even hiding assets from her. She's going for full smear campaign, Peter says when I called event. Classic move in high-stakes divorces. Paint other party as villain, so she looks like victim. Don't worry, we've got more than enough to counter her claims. That's supposed to be comforting, but doesn't stop bile rising. Every time think about it. Emily isn't just trying to take my money. She's trying to destroy my reputation. Breaking point comes during family dinner at my parents' house. Supposed to be quiet evening. Just my parents. Andrew, his wife Linda. Few close relatives. Hadn't told them everything yet. Only that Emily and I were separating. Didn't want to drag them into mess. Until had more answers. But Emily had other plans. Halfway through dinner, front door bursts open. Everyone freezes, forks clinking against plates. As Emily storms in, face twisted with rage. In her hand, she holds gun, voice trembling. What the hell is this, I say. Rising from chair, Emily ignores me, wild eyes scanning room. Until they land on me, raises gun, pointing it directly at my chest. Well, that's it, bastard, she hisses. You ruined my life. Now it's my turn to ruin yours. Room erupts into chaos. My father shouts something. Can't hear over pounding in my ears. Andrew on his feet instantly, trying to get between Emily and me. But she waves gun at him, forces him to back off. Stay out of this, Andrew, she snaps. This is between me and your brother. You've lost your mind, I say. Take cautious step toward her. Put gun down. Before someone gets hurt. Emily laughs. Cold, hollow sound. Hurt? Oh, you think I'm just going to hurt you? No. You took everything from me, Richard. My life, my security, my future. You did that to yourself, I say. Keep voice steady despite fear. You lied. You cheated. You stole from me. Her hand trembles. For a moment thinks she might lower gun, but then expression hardens. Shifts aim to Linda, Andrew's wife. Air leaves my lungs instantly. No, I shout. Lunge forward. Gunshot rings out, deafening and final. For split second, don't know what happened. Sound reverberates through room, followed by shattering of glass. My shoulder burns like fire. Realize she'd hit me. Andrew tackles Emily. Before she can fire again, knocking gun out of her hand. It skitters across floor, landing near my father's feet. He grabs it, hands shaking, points it away from everyone. Call the police, my mother screams. Stagger back, clutching my shoulder, blood seeping through shirt. Andrew wrestles Emily to ground, pinning her arms behind back, as she screams and thrashes beneath him. You've lost it, Emily, Andrew shouts, voice raw with anger. What the hell is wrong with you? She deserves everything coming to her, Linda cries, voice trembling. You could have killed someone by time police arrive. Emily has calmed down, but manic gleam in her eyes. Hasn't faded, doesn't resist as they cuff her, lead her out of house, but glances over shoulder, gaze locking with mine. This isn't over, she says, voice dripping with venom. Don't respond. Later that night, after chaos settled, been patched up by paramedics, Andrew sits with me on back porch. Neither of us speaks for a while. Weight of what happened, pressing down like heavy blanket. She's insane, Andrew says finally. Can't believe she went that far. Nod while staring at bandage. On my shoulder. It's not about me anymore, I say. She didn't just threaten me. She threatened everyone I care about. She pointed gun at Linda. I know, Andrew says quietly. We're pressing charges, I say firmly. No more second chances. No more trying to handle this on my own. She's dangerous. Needs to face consequences. Andrew nods, jaw set firmly. We'll back you up, Richard. Whatever you need. That night as lay in bed, adrenaline finally wears off. Weight of everything hits me. Woman I'd loved. Woman I'd shared life with. Had become stranger. Dangerous, vengeful stranger. But for first time in weeks, feel glimmer of hope. This isn't end of my story. Morning after shooting is surreal. Shoulder aches like hell. Every time move. Pain reminds me. How close came to losing everything. Emily isn't just problem anymore. She's threat to my life. And my family. Police took her into custody. Night before. But no, this isn't over. If one thing Emily excels at, it's twisting situations. To her advantage, even as she sits in jail cell. Imagine her scheming next move. Spend day with Andrew. Going over everything that happened. Linda still shaken up. Hands trembling whenever. Thinks back to Emily aiming gun at her. She was ready to kill me, Linda whispers. Voice cracking. She won't get another chance. I assure her. But deep down, not so sure. That afternoon, Peter calls with update. Good news, he begins. Tone calm and measured. Charges against Emily are solid. Assault with deadly weapon. Intent to harm. Unlawful entry. She's not walking away from this. Without consequences. And the bad news, I ask? Knowing there's always catch. She's already spinning her side of story. He admits. She's claiming you provoked her. That she acted in self-defense. Laugh bitterly. Self-defense? She came into my parents' house with gun. Peter sighs. It's absurd, I know. But you'd be surprised how far people will go to create reasonable doubt. That's why we need to stay vigilant. This isn't just about protecting yourself anymore. It's about protecting everyone around you. Decide to take Peter's advice seriously. Over next few days, meet with private security companies. Have cameras installed at both my home and parents' house. Every door, every window, everything covered. Claire helps organize logistics. Grateful for her steady presence. She doesn't say much about shooting, but can tell she's furious on my behalf. She's completely unhinged, Claire says. One evening, as we review more evidence, you need to push harder in court. Go for full custody of assets. Don't give her $1 more than law requires. That's the plan, I say. Though thought of another courtroom battle makes stomach churn. Then 3 days after incident, get Colbin dreading. She's out on bail, Peter informs me. What? I snap. How is that even possible? She pointed gun at me, Peter. I know, he says. But bail hearings don't always go way they should. She paid her way out. Now we need to prepare for whatever she does next. Rage bubbles up inside, almost blind with it. How could someone like her, someone so blatantly dangerous, be allowed to walk free? She's going to come after me again. I say, voice low. Peter pauses. She might try, but this time, you'll be ready. That evening, sit on porch with Andrew, trying to make sense of everything. She's like cockroach, I mutter. Think you've crushed her? Then she just crawls back out. Andrew nods grimly. What's her next move, you think? Probably something dramatic. She loves making scene, but I'm not going to give her satisfaction. This time, as if on cue, phone buzzes. Message from unknown number. You can't win Richard. I always get what I want. Stare at screen. Words sinking in like stone in gut. Andrew leans over. Reading message. Is that her? Who else? I say. Through gritted teeth. Block number, he suggests. Shake head. No. Let her think she's getting to me. Better if we know what she's planning. Next day. Receive letter from her lawyer. List of demands. Half of house. Spousal support for 5 years. Formal apology for emotional distress. It's laughable. So absurd, actually chuckle when read it. She really thinks this will work. Tell Claire. Handing her letter. Claire's eyes widen. As she scans demands, she's delusional. None of this is enforceable, especially after what she's done. Doesn't matter, I say. She's not trying to win. She's trying to drag me through mud until I break. That evening, another storm brews. This time literal. Thunder rumbles outside as sit in living room, scrolling through old photos of Emily on phone, not feeling nostalgic, looking for patterns, clues, anything might have missed. During our marriage, strange seeing her smile. In those pictures, she looked so innocent, so sincere, yet behind that smile was woman capable of betrayal, theft, and now attempted murder. Thoughts interrupted by loud banging on front door. Freeze, heart pounding. Cameras hadn't alerted me. To anyone approaching, grab phone, pull up live feed. There she is, Emily standing on porch, hair plastered to face from rain, not holding gun this time, but manic look in her eyes, enough to set off every alarm in mind. Slamming fists against door. Open up! We need to talk! Don't move. Instead, call 911. Voice steady as explain situation. She's not supposed to be here. We'll send someone over right away. They reply. Emily continues pounding on door, her shouts growing louder, more frantic. You think you can hide from me? She screams. You think this is over? I'll ruin you, Richard. You and everyone you care about. Stay quiet. Watching her through security feed, her face twisted with rage. For a moment feel pang of sadness. Not for her, but for life we'd once shared. How had it come to this? Sound of sirens? Cuts through storm. Emily's expression shifts, backs away from door, eyes darting around, like cornered animal. When police arrive, she doesn't resist. But as they lead her away, looks directly into camera, lips curling into sinister smile. This isn't over, she mouths. Emily's arrest marks turning point. For first time, feel like have real chance to rebuild my life. But her smile lingers in mind. Dark reminder that battle isn't truly over. Not scared though. Morning after Emily's second arrest, feels lighter. For first time in months, can breathe without suffocating weight. Of her chaos pressing down, but deep inside no. This is temporary. Emily's last twisted smile. Replays in mind like warning. Reminder that she thrives on revenge. Claire stops by with coffee. Later that morning, welcome distraction. From stillness of house, she seems unusually quiet. As we sit in living room, sipping our drinks. What's on your mind? I ask. Breaking silence. She hesitates. Fingers drumming against cup. Richard, I've been thinking, what if Emily finds another way to come after you? She's in custody, I say. Though even I don't sound convinced. Yeah, for now, Claire replies. But you've seen what she's capable of. I'm not trying to scare you, but we need to be prepared. For anything, that phrase echoes in mind. As spend next few days, shoring up every corner of my life, Peter helps expedite restraining order, while Andrew and I double down on security measures at our homes. Even Linda, still shaken since gun incident, takes self-defense classes at Claire's insistence. Despite all this, part of me can't shake feeling that Emily's grip on my life isn't entirely gone. She has a way of leaving scars that aren't just physical. 2 weeks pass without incident. Begin settling into new routine, focusing on work and rebuilding my life. Claire had been steady presence. Through it all, her no-nonsense attitude, keeping me grounded. One night, We sit on back porch, cool evening air filling spaces. Between our words. Do you ever think about what could have been? I ask suddenly, staring into darkness beyond yard. With Emily? Claire asks. I nod. She pauses, expression thoughtful. I think it's natural to wonder, but don't get stuck there, Richard. She's not same person you married, and maybe she never was. Her words hit harder than expected. Claire has way of cutting through excuses, forcing me to face truth. Been avoiding. You're right, I say finally. I can't waste any more time on her. Good, she says with small smile. Because you've got life to live, and it's not going to wait around. For you to figure things out, that moment feels like turning point. Start making plans again, thinking about future. Instead of obsessing over past, for first time in what feels like forever. Let myself feel hopeful. But of course, Emily wasn't finished. Storm comes on Thursday evening, both literally and metaphorically. At home reviewing paperwork. Peter had sent over, when phone buzzes, with notification from security app. Someone on property. Freeze. Heart racing. Open app to check camera feed. There she is. Emily standing at edge of yard. Hair drenched from rain. Face illuminated by floodlights. She's not alone. Beside her stands Kevin. His usual smug expression. Replaced by something more sinister. What the hell? I mutter. Grab phone to call police. Before can dial. Emily steps closer to camera. Face twisting into sneer. Holds up piece of paper. Presses it against lens. Can't make out details, but bold letters at top unmistakable. Court summons. Police arrive before Emily and Kevin. Can do much else. They stay at edge of property, shouting empty threats as officers escort them away. Peter calls me later that night to explain. She's filed countersuit, he says, voice heavy with frustration. She's claiming harassment, defamation, and emotional distress. It's ridiculous. But it's enough to keep her in game. How is this even possible? I demand. Pacing room. Because she's manipulative, Peter replies. And because legal system allows room for these kinds of stunts. Don't worry. We'll dismantle her case, but it's going to take time. Time. That was one thing Emily seemed intent on stealing from me. She didn't care about winning or losing in court. Her goal was to exhaust me, to keep her presence looming over my life like storm cloud. But this time, not going to let her win. In weeks that follow, legal battle becomes my new reality. Emily's countersuit is baseless, as Peter predicted, but still requires hours of preparation, meetings, court appearances. Every time see her in courtroom, she acts like she's victim, demeanor calm and composed. It's infuriating, but don't let her get to me. Instead, focus on facts, provide court with evidence of her affair, her theft, her dangerous behavior, include security footage of her trespassing, police reports from both incidents. Peter's relentless, dismantling her arguments, piece by piece, until nothing left of her case but pile of lies. Turning point comes during cross-examination. Emily had insisted on taking stand, convinced she could sway court with her crocodile tears, but Peter was ready for her. Mrs. Harrison, he begins, voice steady. Can you explain why you showed up at Mr. Harrison's home with firearm on night of October 15th? Her mask slips for a moment, eyes darting nervously toward her lawyer. I was scared, she says finally. He'd been threatening me for weeks. Threatening you? Peter echoes, raising eyebrow. Do you have any proof of these alleged threats? Emily hesitates, hands fidgeting in lap. No, but no further questions, Peter says. Cutting her off by time trial ended. Clear that Emily had lost. Judge dismissed her countersuit, upheld charges against her, including restraining order, barred her from coming within 500 feet of me or anyone in my family. It wasn't victory I'd hoped for. Not entirely. Damage she'd done couldn't be undone. Knew it would take time to rebuild my life. But for first time, felt like I was in control again. Emily's reign of chaos was over, or so I thought. Months pass, Emily is gone, or at least supposed to be. After court decision, she disappeared from radar. No more late-night texts, no unannounced visits, no drama. Almost eerie. How quiet things had become. Throw myself into rebuilding life. Linda gives birth to healthy baby boy, for first time in long time. My house filled with kind of chaos. I welcome diapers, sleepless nights, sound of newborn crying, but deep down, can't shake feeling that Emily isn't finished. It starts with small things. Car parked down street for hours, hang-up calls from blocked numbers, packages delivered to house I hadn't ordered. At first brush it off, chalk it up to paranoia. But then comes night of fire, lying in bed, when sharp scent of smoke reaches nose. At first think it's neighbor, burning leaves. or maybe something from kitchen. But then fire alarm blares. And realize truth. My house is on fire. Rush to get Linda and baby out. Heart racing as flames consume back porch. Andrew, who was staying with us temporarily, grabs garden hose, starts spraying fire. While I call 911, firefighters arrive just in time to stop fire from spreading to main part of house, but damage is done. Back half of house is charred ruin. Any idea who could have done this? Fire chief asks. As we survey damage, don't have to think twice. Emily, I say, voice cold. Next day, go to police station with Peter, armed with every piece of evidence. Have on Emily. She's crossed line, I tell officer, handling my case. She's gone from harassment to arson. They take my statement. Promise to investigate, but can't wait for wheels of justice. Know Emily too well. She thrives on chaos. If thinks she's untouchable, she'll escalate. That evening, make decision. Enough is enough, I say to Andrew. As we sit in kitchen, acrid smell of smoke still lingering. What are you thinking, he asks. I'm going to confront her, face to face. This ends tonight. Andrew's eyes widen. You sure that's a good idea? She's unpredictable, Richard. She's already tried to kill you once. I don't care, I say firmly. Not living like this anymore. If she wants to play games, I'll end it. Find her easily enough. Emily moved into dingy motel. On outskirts of town, far cry from life she once had. Park across street, hands gripping steering wheel. Try to steady nerves. You don't have to do this, Claire had said, when told her my plan. Yes, I do, I'd replied, now sitting in car. Not so sure. But then think about Linda, our baby, and the fire. Think about years of lies and betrayal, fear she tried to instill in me. This about more than just ending nightmare. It's about taking my life back. Knock on door to her room, heart pounding in chest. Door opens crack. And there she is. Emily looks terrible. Hair unkempt, eyes sunken, clothes hanging off her, like they don't belong to her. Richard, she says, voice dripping with mock surprise. What pleasant surprise. We need to talk, I say, tone flat. She opens door wider, motioning for me to come in. By all means, she says, smile sharp and mocking. Let's talk. Room is cluttered, fast food wrappers everywhere, empty wine bottles, piles of clothes scattered around. You've gone too far, Emily, I say, keeping voice steady. The fire, the harassment. It ends now, she laughs. Sound sends chills down spine. You think you can just show up here? Tell me what to do. You ruined my life, Richard. This is your fault. My fault, I say, voice incredulous. You're the one who cheated. You're the one who lied. You're the one who pointed gun at me. And you're the one who left me. You're the one who replaced me, she shoots back, voice rising. With that woman. This isn't about Linda, I say, anger boiling over. This is about you, refusing to take responsibility for your actions. Her face twists with rage. For a moment, thinks she might lunge at me. But then she does something. Don't expect. She starts to cry. You don't understand, she says, voice cracking. I've lost everything. And it's all because of you. Stare at her, unsure if tears are genuine or just another manipulation. You lost everything. Because you destroyed it, I say finally. Not me. You, she looks up at me, expression shifting, from sorrow to something darker. You think you've won, don't you, she says, voice cold. You think you can just walk away, live your perfect little life, but you'll never be free of me, Richard. Never. Threat hangs in air like smoke. Turn and walk out of room, leaving her behind, but as reach my car. Can't shake feeling. This isn't over. Next morning, get call from police. We found her, officer says. Found her, I ask. Confused. She was in her motel room. There was empty bottle of pills. On floor, my breath catches. Is she? She's alive, he says. Barely. She left note, though. She blamed you. For everything in end, Emily survived, but was placed under psychiatric care. Court granted me full protection. She no longer allowed within 1,000 feet of me or my family. Didn't feel triumphant. Didn't feel like I'd won. But as I held Linda and our baby, that evening, realized something. Emily no longer had control over my life, and for first time in years, I felt free.